Good evening, Gala. Well, this week was full of rivalries, blowouts, incompetence, negligence, and a couple of fucking retards. I'm feeling a little embarrassed. This is the Weekly Giggity. Let's hop right into the news and notes, shall we? The obvious news is that the Gridiron Gala saw two more victims fall mercy to the Constitution. Michael Areola and Tony Funston, the numbers 2 and 3 in the standings going into Week 7, were disqualified due to invalid rosters. Mike says he was in a work meeting and didn't realize that all of his claims went through on Thursday. Tony is just fucking blind and left an active Denzel Mims on his IR. Fucking idiot. In NFL news, we are led with Odell Beckham Jr. falling to the dreaded torn ACL and missing the remainder of the season. Andy Dalton got fucking cracked and suffered a concussion. This could mean turmoil for the seemingly loaded Dallas offense. Kenyon Drake was carted off the field with a torn ligament in his ankle and will likely miss a few weeks. Chris Carson likely will not practice all week and will be a game-time decision. Chris Godwin had surgery on a fractured finger and will miss at least 1 week. Deebo Samuel is ruled out with a hamstring injury, though Tevin Coleman is cleared to practice. Philip Lindsay is dealing with a concussion. Miles Sanders, Joe Mixon, and Aaron Jones still are not practicing this week. Christian McCaffrey has been cleared to practice and has not been ruled out of playing tonight against the Falcons. Interesting. Other notable injuries include Landon Collins, Montez Sweat, Jadeveon Clowney, Deontay Johnson, half of the Bengals' offensive line, Brashad Perryman, Dede Westbrook, N'Keal Harry, and Jeff Wilson Jr. Waiver Wednesdays came through and was led by Noor spending $5 on Jermichael Hasty. Forales also put $5 down on Carlos Hyde. Kevin got Carson Wentz for $4, dropping Stafford, and Areola got the Colts defense for $3. $1 winners were Forales getting Matt Prater and DJ Dallas. Tony is replacing Denzel fucking Mims with Corey Davis. And something to note, there has still not been any trades since Jason resurrected Kevin out of the Gala's butthole. Okay. Well, let's get into the weekly recap, shall we? There were a lot of shitty performances this week, and thus a lot of fat fucking zeros. Those goose eggs were laid by Odell Beckham Jr., Mike Williams, Jonnu Smith, D'Ernest Johnson, Devontae Freeman, and a -1 point for Chase Claypool. 5 out of 6 of those players belong to Noor and Corey. Okay, let's get into it, huh? Match 1, Slater versus Corey. Corey's getting a real taste of humility. If he thought last week was embarrassing, then this must have been like pissing the bed at summer camp. The lack of running back depth bit him hard with only 1 point from the position. Slater didn't blow up like last week, but solid days for a few was more than enough. Slater gives Corey his second loss here, 95-72. Corey's running backs account for 31.4% of his total points. That's gonna make for one fucked up week when your two running backs combine for only 14 yards. It's very obvious that Corey needs his studs back ASAP.
Showstopper.
Slater went out and picked up Jamal Williams off the waivers. Not only did he have a great day, but this also denied Corey from grabbing the handcuff and going with the chili dog option instead in Green Bay with A.J. Dillon. Williams rushed for 77 yards, with 37 yards receiving and a touchdown. Match 2, Tony versus Noor. Noor wins 0-120. Match 3, Kevin versus Sam. Sam puts together a week with no big scores, but full of double-digit performances. Kevin had some big numbers, though his running backs were very underwhelming. Big scores left on the bench were the downfall for Kevin here, as Sam had a 100% lineup efficiency for the week. Sam rolls his best buddy beer bitch and beats Kevin 82-100. Aside from 1 week, it seems like Matt Stafford just can't reach expectations. You would think that a gunslinger like him would feast against the Falcons. And he did have a decent day. Don't get me wrong, it's not like he shit the bed. But not as big as we wanted to see. Staffy threw for 340 yards, but only 1 touchdown for an okay 17 points. Showstopper. Sam's team was pretty even all the way through, so I'm going to go with the fact that Kevin did not start Joe Burrow, Tyler Boyd, or Deontay Johnson, and it cost him big. If he were to have started any 2 of these 3, he would have smashed Sam. Match 4, Jason versus Areola. Jason wins 102-0. Match 5, Ferralis versus Gomez. What is going on with the reigning champ? Not to say that he would have beat Gomez, who ended up putting up the weekly high, but it almost seems like he's not even trying. Meanwhile, G-Money has a few monster scores making up for the lack of a running game. Ferralis did not help himself out here and loses to a big week from the Mexican Joker 103-137. Despite being questionable all week, Ferralis left Michael Thomas in his lineup and took a fat fucking 0 in that spot. I didn't mention that in the zeros earlier because he didn't actually play, and so yeah. He never moved Thomas, or until even recently, Eckler to the IR to create cap space in order to make moves. Maybe Ferralis should change his team name to the New York Jets, but it seems that he is tanking for the number 1 pick. Showstopper. TB12 and AJ Brown had big weeks for Gomez, but Tyler Lockett straight buck shit up, catching 15 balls for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, resulting in 38 points. Fuck. Hard to believe Seattle still lost that game, right? Anyway, that's it for the weekly recap. Got a little surprise for y'all. I sat down with one of the league's own and had a chat. I hope you enjoy. Hey there, good day. Hey, Michael. Michael Frost here, joining me.
What's happening, partner?
Oh, you know. Living the life here in Sandusky, Ohio. Callahan Auto Parts.
Sandusky, I love it, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of the show. Thanks for having me on.
Glad to hear it. Subscribe. Hit that fucking button, baby.
Thumbs up.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to get started here. Mike, what are you wearing?
Shorts.
Oh, we get a fashion show, y'all.
Basketball shorts for about 3 days in a row.
Nice.
I got the t-shirt going.
Neff said.
Is this leading to a question of what you're wearing?
Basically the same thing. T-shirt and the same gym shorts I've worn with no underwear for a few days now.
Very nice.
Yeah. Okay, more serious concerns here. Mike, you've lost 6 games in a row. You won your first game of the year, and then you've lost 6 in a row. Are you just feeling unlucky? Because I don't know if you realize, but you are by far the highest scored against in the league.
Is that what brings me on this show today? Is that what we're going to talk about here?
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, fucked up your team's been.
You guys don't know how it is, you know. This game is there's a big piece of luck to it, right? You know, everyone goes into the season and you're in love with your team and everyone's shooting for this championship, and a lot of us have been in this position and it doesn't always turn out that way.
So you think for the most part you've mostly just been unlucky? You like the way your team's still built?
I would love to have a stronger team. What I can recommend to you guys is the championship. Winning first place, it's not worth it. You you win first place, and then you're picking last the next year. I know majority of you guys trade away your draft picks, right? But I mean, that's a whole different story. But it's like,
Sound like you're really cherishing them picks.
It's slim pickings, man. It's slim pickings. It is tough. So
it's true. It's true. The draft is in this league is very, very, very slim and compared to most.
It is. You guys are all skilled team owners, so I must commend you. But at the same token, I have a lot of catching up to do.
Yes, you do. Which is brings me to my next question. Why are you so quiet in the league? It seems like you don't really have much activity. I don't know if you noticed this, but in the past 50 days, you only made one transaction picking up Mason Crosby. And in the past 30 days, the only thing you've done in the past 30 days besides that was putting Eckler on the IR, which was just a couple days ago. So why so quiet?
That's a great point. So I have two answers to that. One of them being, it's tough when you're so strapped on capital, right? So I went into that draft, there's slim pickings. I ended up picking up Eckler in the middle of the draft, nice little come up. But at the same time, that pushed me to the limit to where I can't make that many decisions as far as waivers. I'm seeing everyone pick up these nice waivers these weeks, and I get all excited. I'm like, Mike picked up James Robinson the beginning of the year. It's doing really well for him.
Yeah, that was a big pickup for him. Probably pickup of the year.
And, I like to always give a little bit of leeway when it comes to your draft cap, because those are how you win leagues, right? So this year, you can see that I've played a lot more hands-off approach. Without the capital, you're a lot more risk averse. You can't really make those pickups. It's harder to craft trades.
The thing is, though, is Eckler's been on the IR since week 5. So it's been almost 3 weeks now, and you just put him on the IR and cleared up $20 worth of cap. So you could have done something in the past couple of weeks.
Here's the thing. You clear that cap, but then what happens when that player comes back? You know what I mean? Like Michael Thomas was on the IR as well. And, I'm seeing these like DQs happen, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to play it safe. I could have picked up some players, but at the same time, it also kind of is unmotivating when you're losing every single week, even though that is motivation to pick people up. But
it seems like it kind of lit a fire under your ass this week as you picked up a couple of running backs already. You threw Eckler on the IR finally.
I did go on a little shopping spree this week, so I'm hoping to bounce back a little bit.
Okay. So playoffs right now, they're looking a little far away for you. I mean, everybody's still in it, but it's getting pretty slim for you. Are you worried about beer bitch at all?
So this is a huge worry for me. The night terrors are starting to kick in. You guys can see, and I'm not very active in the chat pod, just not very motivated. I'm starting to ask all these questions like, what is football really? What is life? I'm trying to find new hobbies, and it's a very, very real realization for me. You never really put yourself in this position until you're in it.
Oh yeah.
And I have a story for you guys. So there's a team member in our league. His name is Tony, and we were doing some wheeling and dealing early in the year. And he says, I'm trying to offer some draft picks to try to sweeten the pot. It's one of those regular deals where Tony's trying to poach one of your players. And I'm trying to throw in some draft picks. I'm like, don't worry, I don't think I'm making the playoffs this year. This is going to be a really high draft pick. And he goes, come on, man. You're Mr. Automatic 100 points a week. You're definitely making the playoffs. And to me, that was the ultimate kiss of death. I couldn't believe it. I knew it was all downhill from there.
Hey, to his point, he did score 102 this week with Michael Thomas in your lineup putting up a fucking 0.
I try. I do my best, and sometimes the cards are just against you, and
Yeah.
you got to face the reality, and you got to deal with it. Nothing more you can do.
Oh yeah, and having somebody in your lineup that's out for the game doesn't help.
Yeah, that's a tough one, but I don't think I had any points on my bench really either to make up for those points. So
That's true. So here's a question for you to address the whole league here. Is there anyone for sale on your team?
the whole team's for sale.
The whole team's for sale.
Whole team's for sale. If I could trade it in, if anyone wants to trade positions with me, Gomez, you have a nice team. I'll take yours. I love a little Josh Jacobs, but in reality, Michael Thomas is for sale. He's not cheap, but he'll be starting anytime soon.
Whopping season of 1 point.
The 1 point Michael Thomas. I don't know if you want anyone else on my team, really. You got.
Well, you do have a slew. You have some wide receivers that could be appealing to people.
There are a few studs at wide receiver. The thing about wide receivers, so I've got approached by a few people for trades, and the wide receivers are the only thing keeping me afloat. That and Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
And it's like, it doesn't mean I can't wheel and deal them. It's like I got to get a little something in return, specifically running back. But, like I said, everyone's for sale. Come on down. We're having a fire sale.
Okay, last question for you. What is your opinion on the downfall of the global economy due to social distancing?
I'm impartial to it.
I don't expect you to answer that. I just fucking threw that in there for the hell of it.
Do you have a side on that?
No, I don't even really know what it means. I just fucking thought of something stupid to ask at the end. All right, so that does it for us here. Mike, I raise a glass to you. 1-6 is tough, but if anybody can get through it, man, I know you could. I know you got some tough sledding coming up. You're one of the few that has to play Mike and Corey twice. But
oh, really?
Yep.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Well,
Cheers
I appreciate the excitement that you brought for me. So, cheers.
Absolutely.
You're doing a good job.
Thanks again, and see you out there on the playing field, my man.
You got it, man. Have a good night.
Thank you, Ferrari, for that wonderful look into your depressing season thus far. I hope things turn around for you, partner. Let's get into the upcoming matchups, huh? Up and coming
matchups.
All right, we're diving right in. Match 1, Sam versus Tony. Sam and his son, Damien, #MakeCoreyDraftAgain, will head out to Nike Starbucks PlayStation 4 field to take on Tony and his "I believe that when me shit turns purple and smells like Rainbow Herbert." Sam is in trouble here as his strength and his wide receivers have 4 byes, and his quarterbacks also have tough matchups. He'll be relying on his running backs and hoping to get Mixon back. Tony will be without Chris Godwin again and has a decision to make for his wide receiver 2. Gala projects this one to be a squeaker at 86-107, Tony. Any given Sunday, anybody can win, but Sam is really looking for something special here with so many wide receivers unavailable. Tony's options are slightly limited, but better looking. I'll take Tony, as long as he doesn't fuck shit up again. Match 2, Kevin versus Slater. Kevin's need more beer? Wave that wand for the beer, bitch. Is diving into the salty lake to visit Slater and the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The only bye week being Deshaun Watson doesn't leave room for excuses here. Mike Evans could see a big day without Godwin going on Monday night, and Kevin really wants Sanders back on the field against a shoddy Dallas defense. Drew Brees has been getting hot, but that Chicago D is tough against the pass. Early projections got this one at 89-104, Slater. I do like Le'Veon this week in a revenge game, but Swift is going against the Colts, and that's a tough one. If If Aaron Jones is out again and Slater gets another week out of Williams, it would be huge. Both squads have choices at wide receiver here. I think Burrow is going to sling, so I'm going to be taking Kevin in the upset. Match 3, Jason versus Corey. Jason is Kevin's Lord and Savior. We'll head downtown to play Corey and his... Is that a chub? Yeah, just my dick. Now, it may seem sexy for Corey and Goff, but the Dolphins have actually been pretty stingy against the quarterback position lately. Corey should have Dalvin back, but the Packers are talking about moving cautiously with Aaron Jones. On the slim chance that Christian McCaffrey can go tonight, it'll be interesting to see if Jason still starts Mike Davis. With Tevin Coleman likely coming back soon, he has a decision to make with Jet McKinnon in his lineup. This match is projected 107-102, Jason. Both quarterbacks have tough games here, and that's a rivalry game against Pittsburgh. There are a lot of questions with Bobo's wide receivers this week, though it has shown that Corey's in big trouble without 2 of his stud running backs, and even more trouble this week with no Kyler Murray. I'll be going with Jason to start the losing streak for Corey. Match 4, Gomez versus Areola. Gomez and his toot that thing up, mommy, make it roll. Once you pop, lock it for me, girl, get low. If your mama gave it to you, baby girl, let it show. You pop, lock it, drop it for me, maybe we can roll. Pop, lock, and drop it. We'll head to the east side to play Mike's. Juju is definitely doo-doo, baby. Gomez could be set for another big week here with Robbie Anderson leading him off against the Falcons tonight. Though Nipple hopes to get Christian McCaffrey back and bounce back after his blunder. James Robinson on a bye doesn't help Areola here, but he could expect big weeks from Mahomes and JT. Anchoring Gomez will be Tom Brady in a juicy matchup with the New York Giants on Monday night. This one is projected at 101-90, Gomez. G-Money's Raiders could feast in Cleveland, and his wide receivers are set up nicely as well. It is easy to think that the Chiefs could just blow out the Jets early and turn to the run game, or even backups. Mike also has a decision to make for his RB2. I'm going to be going with Gomez in this one. Match 5, Nor versus Ferralis. Nor's Carry On will head out to take on Mike and the Lamb of God squad. The Rodgers-Adams stack should be in full effect again this week against the suspect Vikings defense. He also has a couple of 49ers in Kittle and Ayuk that could have big weeks against Seattle. Aside from Todd Gurley, Ferralis has some tough matchups up and down the board. Will he get his head out of his ass and make the necessary moves to avoid beer bitch duties? I don't know. Gala sees this one at 113-98, Nor. Nothing seems to be going right for our champ here. And his strong wide receivers had some tough battles this week. Maybe the return of Michael Thomas is just what he needs. I don't think it matters. I'm going to go with Nor. Alright. Well, folks, it's time for the Power Rankings. It's the weekly Power Rankings. It's the weekly Power Rankings. Now go Power Rangers. Sorry, copyright. Can't do that. Okay, so Corey was too busy crying in the corner to submit his power rankings this week, so I've reverted back to the Gridiron Galas format. Don't shoot the messenger. Number 10, Kevin Wallen. Though his scoring is on the rise, bad start-sit decisions will only hurt you. No Kenyon Drake and a questionable Sanders doesn't help the reigning beer bitch moving forward, though Joe Burrow is looking pretty damn good. Number 9, Michael Ferralis. Finally, we see some activity as he puts Eckler on the IR and opens up the wallet. But outside of Gurley, the running backs are a joke right now. Maybe it's time to move one of them wide receivers and get out of the basement. Mike is also the highest scored against with an average of 112.1. The next highest is Tony at 99.3. Pretty big difference there. Number 8, Michael Areola. Yes, we know. Corey had him at number 3 last week in his power rankings. So don't look too hard in this one, okay? Mike is riddled with injuries with Mostert back on the IR and a very underperforming Juju. CMC could return tonight, if not next week, and that definitely should boost Mike up in the ranks. Number 7, Samuel Nix. The running backs continue to hurt Sam as Mixon still hasn't practiced and DJ has just been okay. He still holds a slew of wide receivers, though they might not be too much help to him this week as 4 of them were on bye. Also, Sam is only getting 17% of his points from the quarterback position, which is the second lowest in the league, just in front of Kevin. Number 6, Jason Barcease. Hard to tell how Jason will fare with Mike Davis once Run CMC is back, though he will be getting Tevin Coleman back soon. With Derrick Henry having a tough upcoming schedule and Devin Singletary disappointing during a very easy stretch, Bubbles' hands must be getting that familiar clammy cold beer feeling again. Number 5, Noor Sandy. The loss of OBJ could hurt Noor, but it also could be a blessing in disguise. OBJ has been underperforming all season, and this move to the IR frees up over $25 in cap for Noor to make some moves. With Chase Edmonds taking over the Arizona backfield for a bit, this is the time for Noor to leap forward. Number 4, Alejandro Gomez. Still some question marks when it comes to depth, especially at the running back position, but Gomez has been making it work. Due to a couple of fucking idiots, he finds himself second in the standings. But with Philip Lindsay looking strong and AP taking a backseat to Swift, how long will Gomez be able to keep this up? Number 3, Alex Slater. Strong wide receiver play and Watson playing like we've expected have been the recipe for Tishy's success lately. Though, ever since the Dak injury, Zeke has only put up 7 points in 2 weeks. Hopefully Bell doesn't eat too much into CEH's workload. Luckily, some depth and smart pickups could be helpful moving forward. Number 2, Tony Funston. Despite a bonehead fuck-up and forfeiting a week, we can't ignore that Tony's team is hot. The emergence of Justin Herbert and a constant, strong running back play has been the formula for him all year. He may have been knocked down in the standings, but he's still in the scoring mix and only 1 game out of first place, which means he's still in it. That just leaves number 1, Corey Hart. 2 straight losses has brought Corey down from his self-appointed pedestal and given him a glimpse of hardship. Corey had the lowest score of all the qualified players last week, and it's obvious how much he relies on his running backs Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones, and Nick Chubb, though he might get a couple of them back very soon. Alright, y'all. That does it for this edition. I'd like to thank Michael Ferralis for joining me earlier. And, dude, 7 guys at 4 and 3 in the standings. You know, Mike's still not out of it. Corey's starting to fall kind of hard without his running backs. It is tight. Tweet in there. It's anyone's game, guys. Anyone's. Nobody throwing the towel yet. And let's start getting some moves going, huh? I mean, like I said, no trade since Jason bailed out Kevin. I think, and the trade, the inclusive trade deadline is next Wednesday. This coming Wednesday. So it's time to start talking. May all your weekends be blessed with touchdowns, TDs, and many yards, and let's see some close weeks, huh? Let's see some nail biters going into Monday night. I am your host. And this has been the Weekly Giggity. I'll see y'all next week. That is a tasty burger. Say what again?